Secrets are revealed, dragons are angered, and so much more in this new episode of the Post Credits as we break down A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. What's happening, everybody? It's your boy, Santana. Welcome to another great edition. Breaking down episode 3 of season 1 of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. We had another great episode. We'll talk about it more. Some of us liked it, but some of us still had a little issues with it. But overall, I think it was a good episode. So let's get right into it, guys. I want to get. We had Justin, we have Matt, but we've added a fourth member. Now I want to give that time to give him some love. Greg, how are you, bro?
Good, man. Good. Pleasure to everybody. I don't even know talking.
You're not talking.
I thought this was a watch along, so I'm way off. So, hey, everybody, how's it going?
Appreciate You're good. So, Greg, let's start with you, sandwich. Greg, you actually just ended the episode.
Yeah.
I want to get your overall thoughts right away. Your real reaction. You just literally finished it like 2 minutes ago. What were you thinking? Episode 3. What's up?
It was cute. I like the little relationship between Egg and Duncan. It's my first time introduction to them. Super cool to see them, and they're doing their thing. Both get to see some Targaryen stuff. You know, I'm big Game of Thrones fans, so it's cool to see them. Just learn a little bit of, like, the backstory, like if you know, kind of thing. Good to see a dragon. Just taking it all in and immersed in the world. I got immersed pretty quickly in the world, and I felt like I was a part of it, and it was a good starting point for me. I haven't seen episode 1 or 2, so it's gonna be interesting to go back and watch that and see how it goes with that.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, so he just joined in this week on this particular episode.
Yeah, he's okay.
1 and 2, because I actually think it's going to make this episode better for him, because I think 1 and 2 was really great build-up relationship-wise between Duncan and Egg. Like he just said, even in this episode, if you just jumping in, you would be like, oh, cool dynamic between the two, but you would even think that's even better if you watched the first 2 episodes.
Well, Justin, give me your overall thoughts on this episode.
Oh, I loved it. I know what's basically, like, not, like I said, I've never read these stories. I never dove into them, didn't listen to the novellas or read them, period. So I'm coming into this half blind. I was a big, huge I still am big, huge Game of Thrones behind Star Wars. That's my second favorite IP. And like, I dug into it deep. So like, I knew some of the things about Duncan Egg before the novellas even came out, because there were things in Game of Thrones that actually referenced them a couple of times. So I already knew like a basic thing about them, but the true story, like what actually happens, what they actually get into. So in this particular episode, like I knew Egg was something more than what Egg was. I knew he wasn't just some poor laden kid that Dunk happened to bump into. But beyond that, I don't know what happens in their story. But I actually thought it was really cool. We got our first couple episodes. We got their relationship, some of the other things heating up for the tournament and stuff like that. We're getting some of the other dynamics, meeting some of the characters. And then in this episode, it kind of comes to a head. We have that moment. And I think the build up from the last 2 episodes made this episode even better. I do have my not really problems. Like, I'm not hating it too much, but I do see where I almost wish they would have did 3-hour-long episodes. So basically 3 weeks released hour-long, like full hour. And we would have been, you would have get more of the story. So like the first 2 episodes would have been 1 episode. And then this would have been like the beginning of the second episode or something like that. However they could have worked it out.
Okay, I see.
I think that could have been better, because I do think they're stretching it out a little too much, because like you're getting that 35 minutes. And even though it's good, it's like, bro, it's only 35 minutes. I want more, because I got to wait another week.
All right, I got you, Justin. I got you. So, Matt, your overall thoughts. We actually watched it on the same day. You still feel the same way, or are you slightly different?
Yeah, I'm glad we did the review today, because if I would have done it yesterday, I would have given it a 3.5. But I rewatched it again today, and I would give it a higher score than that now.
Okay, yeah. Your biggest complaint was it was probably a little too short. and the reveal, the music kind
That
of threw you off, right?
that and like I thought we were gonna get more of him in the tourney because especially with how the episode ended, I don't think he's gonna be in the tourney anymore.
No.
So
Yeah, no, because if you watch the preview for the next episode, it falls right after this episode. They tell him you punched royal blood, you punched the dragon, you can't do that. He wants your head, and then Arian says, "I want a trial by seven." So,
mm,
so he's not in the tournament. He's not fighting for his life,
yeah.
basically. So yeah, you're right. The tournament's done because I do. My bad. Do you have anything more else?
No, just those were like my only like bigger complaints about the episode.
Yeah. So I did a little bit more research because when me and Matt were talking about it, we have someone in the chat. Shout out to Delia. How you doing,
Yep,
Delia?
I
Appreciate
did.
you.
Uh,
Yeah. So the novella, the first novella, the Hedge Knight, it's 3 days. The entire novella is a 3 day period. So I understand why people are saying. Some people are saying it's too short. Justin says they could have reallocated it to an hour each, like 3 hours. I think 6 episodes are pretty cool. I just think there's certain scenes they could have dragged out a little so we can see more. I overall liked the episode. I was a big fan, of certain scenes. We'll talk about our favorite scenes a little bit later on. But yeah, overall, my overall thoughts. Love the episode. I was with Matt. Thank God. It took me a day. I ruminated a little because I think if we did the episode on Sunday, I think me and Matt would have been like, I would have been angry and we would have shredded it. But I sat with it. I actually watched it twice, 2 more times. And I started to think like, okay, I can see what they're doing here. And I overall love this episode. I'm a big fan of this episode. But speaking of those, let's talk about the scenes. What's up, Justin?
well, before we get into that, I think it is interesting that we have 2 people on here that watched it the actual day of, and then you 2 discussed it. Me and Greg, Egg Sandwich over here, we watched it today. Right, I watched it. He watched it fresh.
Literally,
I watched it a little earlier. Yeah. So like, but it is interesting how 2 of us saw it like that, and we wouldn't have shredded it. I don't think me and Greg would have shredded it. I actually love the episode. Now I do see what Matt's talking about a little bit at the very end of the episode, the way they went from each person with the music. But to me, that was like, you notice how we've gotten the first 2 episodes, there was something a little goofy that happened. Like he's taking a dump.
Dramatic. It's a dramatic tone shift because he revealed who he is.
Yeah.
Now
but
yes.
Well, no, but my point being is if you notice the first 2 episodes, something really goofy happened at the very beginning of the episode. We got the taking the dump, we got the big slong, and then in this episode, nothing kind of goofy happened. It was just normal. But at the end, I do agree with Matt that music choice may be them playing around and like, oh, we did the whole go to each character's face with the music.
Yeah, with the reveal.
Else, and like made it a little goofy that way, if you see what I'm saying. That might be what we were trying to do.
Yeah, I didn't say that here yet, but yeah, like when I was watching yesterday, it was just me and Adelia in Discord, and I was gonna tell her something, so I paused the show, and I started talking, and then I heard the music, and I thought it was coming from her, and then I realized, oh, that's from me, and when I went back to it, I was like, this is so strange, like, because I didn't even see the visuals with the music. Just hearing the music was just so odd, and then when I realized it was coming from the show, I was like, oh wow, like this is so weird.
Yeah, so we're talking about the last scene, the reveal. Greg, give me we've already known the opinions of Justin and Matt's opinions on the reveal. What your reveal? The music choice, how did you feel in that moment?
I don't know if I liked the music choice, to be honest with you. It was a little, I don't know, I just didn't hit the G spot for me. But
over the top.
Didn't go deep enough.
Yeah, just the service. But nonetheless, still a good reveal.
I like the scene. I did like the scene a lot. I just because I like how he just called out the dudes by their names and shit, and like it took Dunk a second to figure out like, oh shit, like he knows these people, like what? And then when he said brother, he's just like, oh fuck.
Yeah, there's like you repugnant little rat. What did you do to your hair?
Right away he's probably thinking too, like, imagine all the shit I already talked to this kid, you know?
Yeah, but it's like, Yeah, my whole thing is this is like I think they tried to do that music was a choice on purpose because they have done the goofy openings. This one
Trying to
they
be
didn't
dramatic.
yeah, this one they didn't do the goofy opening, but I think they tried to have like that little goofy because it is kind of goofy. It's back in the old school days when it was like the who done it stories.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And at
something like
the end
that.
it'd be
Yeah.
like
Dun dun
dun,
dun.
dun, and it
Yeah.
would be like show
Yeah.
a face and then it would do this music again and show
Mhm.
another face. It was kind of like that. I think they were just trying to incorporate something a little goofy that's a little different at the end of the episode on this one. So some people is not going to like it. Now I will
I
say,
don't think they were trying to be goofy. I think they were trying to go for drama there, but like especially the music, it totally reminded me of this other famous piece of music they always use in like movies and shit. I don't know what it's called, but it just like it seemed like such a rip off of that song, and then the way they played it, I was like, these guys didn't get what they were going for.
right, but I will
So,
say though, as far as the reveal as a whole, if you take the music out of it at that moment, I'm super good with it.
yeah, no, I liked it.
I thought it was
Yeah,
really great when he comes in and he's like, "Don't touch him, let him go," and then he names the two people that are actually holding Dunk down,
yeah,
and they let him go instantly. And it's like, even though I knew this was going to happen, because even though I knew this little part of the story, like who Egg actually was, I knew he was a Targaryen the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
But when he like comes in though, and how he says it, and how they executed the actual action of it, I really thought was like really super done well, really good,
Execute, get it?
good executed. And by the way, when I go down deep enough that I hit the F,
Oh my God.
I skip
Well, yeah.
G.
Well, you know what? I really liked the final scene, but I feel like the final scene could have be. I feel like that scene could have been dragged out a little longer, right? Because I want to talk about how like it all starts with Aryan assaulting Tenzel, so because he's mad that she kills the dragon in her show, and I think we kind of cut to him real quick and his reaction to her stabbing the fake dragon. He's kind of like disgusted and angry, but also sad in a way because he's like, I'm a Targaryen without a dragon. I want a dragon, but I can't have a dragon. And seeing you kill the dragon is like, it's really like pissing me off. I feel like they could have shown us his cruelty because all we see, because we show up afterwards because Egg says, Duncan, he's hurting her. And Duncan like shows up and, it's already a mess and stuff. And we just see him snap her leg. We don't see him lose it. I want to see him lose it because I feel like they introduced him last week, but we're starting to see more of him, and he's in a state of like my ancestors used to rule this land with dragons and cool shit, and all I have is a horse.
Listen, I've talked about this in the Discord, which you can join for free down there in the description somewhere. Hook it up. But like I've talked about this plenty of times. People are scared. Like people that are writing shows, even movies to a certain point. Not all of them. Some of them do go to a certain level. But it's like in the story, I know what happens to that girl is even way worse and elongated, like you're talking about, like longer in the story. And all we get is like the little piece of it. And it's because people are, they're scared. They're worried. Oh, well, people's gonna say we went too far. Nah, man. My whole point
He's a monster.
Is he's a monster. I want to see the monster, so it makes me feel like he's the monster, and when he gets what's coming to him, it's gonna be that much more like fulfilling in the story. It's like stop being scared. Like they're if it's a bad person, if it's supposed to be an evil person in the story, let them be evil. That's the point. Stop being scared to like, oh, well, we can't be that bad. Because I can guarantee you, like I said, I never read the Novelia, but if I go and read it, that section where he's like doing the stuff to her is going to be 100%. And I'm not saying you've got to go all the way, just like the Novelia probably told it, but at least give us 50%, right?
Mm-hmm.
At least be brave enough to go 50% in it. Because I do agree. You see her get her fingers broke or whatever by him, which is pretty bad, but like, come on, man, let's go hands off. Let's take the gloves off. Let's do the thing. Stop being scared. It's one of the reasons why Game of Thrones became so popular and stuff back in the day was because they wasn't afraid to just do the story. Just do the story and let's do it.
yeah. I didn't necessarily need to see him like torture her more or injure her more. I thought the finger break was pretty bad, but he
Yeah.
definitely could have taken on some people and showed like a gleeful face, like he just loves it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that
I
would have
wanted to
definitely
see him
portrayed.
trip. I want to see him start tripping after she killed the dragon. You know what I mean? Like him
Yeah.
just like what? Because I see fire on the ground. I see people are being like on the punch. Then he snaps her finger. Because I read about he does like. Because I read it, I'm reading a little bit more lore and
Okay.
some background. Because I know
flex.
he like, yeah. Thank you, Greg. I know Duncan gets in trouble for punching him because he stopped an assault. And you know how Game of Thrones is, right? When you hear assault, I thought it was like it's Game of Thrones, right? It's probably like the not just punching someone in the face. Like I thought he was like gonna rape her or something, but it was just an assault. So I want to see more of him beating up people, losing it, because like you see more of his mental state of like, I'm a Targaryen without a dragon,
Yeah.
and that's not right. And this play you just did was bullshit because the dragon doesn't lose. Like, what is this crap? I want to see the beginning part of that. I didn't need to see more of him like beating her up. I want to see like just the beginning
No, I
part of
think
him.
you could
Like,
have both. I think you could have both. I think it makes it more
well, the
devastating.
finger
Listen,
snap is pretty bad. Justin,
No.
I agree with Matt there.
no, but I'm saying like we go back to the original series, Game of Thrones, right? You had old Ramsay over there, old asshole, and then we get to that Battle of the Bastards episode, and then we get to the end where Sansa walks in and slowly
lets the dogs
starts
loose.
opening. She's letting the dogs loose. How much more fulfilling that was, because we've seen this dude do horrible things. We've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just imagined. We seen it. We was ready for him to get that. It took a long time for us to finally see that revenge, but when we got it, it was savory. It was so sweet to see his own dogs like just basically eat him alive. And hey, that's horrible, but hey, it is what it is. It made people fist bump at that moment. That's what I'm saying.
My thinking there too was like the reason why I said I don't necessarily need to see him like injure her more is because when we come back to the scene, there's like 10 dead bodies all around. Like how'd that happen? I'd rather see how that all know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, for real? I didn't actually. I only watched it the one time and just got through watching it, but I didn't notice that. I want to go back and
there's a bunch of dead people all around. It's like, wait, like how long was this kid gone? Like they were dead, not moving. Like it wasn't like, oh, I'm crawling away from the battle. Like we're all just
he spazzes out. He spazzes out and starts killing people. And then he finally like gets her and he snaps her finger. But you know what? I'm starting to think about it as we talked about this conversation is if Dunk wasn't there, he would have probably did more that was more damaging. But when Dunk just sees the finger snap, Dunk then just loses his mind, right? Just the finger snap is what tripped him. And so I could see why we stopped it before it went over because.
No, I actually agree with Matt here. If we was able to see him like kind of lose it, and then people kind of getting away, and he's just like hacking.
That's what
people.
I said.
No. What I'm saying is if we did see that, and that's what I'm saying. I know you just said it, but I'm just saying if we did see that, and then it kind of cut away, and then it came back, and then you see her do that, then I would have been cooler with that. I would have been like, oh, okay. So it took time to actually get to her. He just now getting to her. Dunk happens to show up at that moment.
Yeah.
Whereas the way they cut it was like,
I
didn't even know there was dead people there until y'all just said it. So now it makes
it was a total editing error. And,
exactly. So I agree. It's It's on the editing on that one. Because if it would have been that way and I would have seen him taking out some people, then Dunk shows up at the right time. Different story. The way the editing made it feel was literally the only thing that happened was maybe like a slap and then like had her down and did the finger thing. But
and also too, it would have been cool to see like who stood up for her or something. You know what I mean? Like,
because let's talk about another scene, right, guys? Well, actually, before when he's doing the joust and he kills the horse, and he breaks that dude's leg because the horse falls on the guy's leg, and how he's gleefully looking at how like what he did to the guy, and one of the people in the crowd. Speaking of standing up to him, standing up for her, Matt throws a rock at the dude's head, and how the commoners and the subjects are like they're no longer scared of them because they don't have dragons.
We got someone in the chat, Ferris.
Huh?
Got someone in the chat.
Oh, what's up, Davon? Is cousin Davon? What's up, Davon? How you doing?
Cousin Davon.
It's cousin Davon.
Yeah. What up, cuz?
Yeah.
Hey, but no, listen.
On my dad's side.
Right, got you. But 100% here is just give out a layout, which I actually think is cool. Usually, going back and forth during time periods of a new world and everything can be a bad thing, but I actually think like seeing Game of Thrones, right, the whole original series, then we have the House of Dragons that's still going on right now, and we have this Duncan Egg. They're during different time periods, so like Game of Thrones is way far off. Targaryens they're not even the king anymore.
Yeah.
They don't have control of anything. Baratheon went in there and took it away. So that's that one spot, right, where the Targaryens had fell super far. Then you have the House of the Dragons, where they're still kind of in their prime. They still got a lot of dragons around. So we're seeing the Targaryens really be at maybe not the height of their power, but they're still like up there towards the top. They haven't fallen completely down yet.
Yep.
And then you have this story is where it's on the precipice at the very edge. The Targaryens, the dragons haven't been around. They've been gone for a little while. People are starting to be like a little more brave about stepping up against them. Like, well, if they don't have dragons, what makes them so fucking special? And that's exactly what happened in this episode. He does that. That's kind of a disgrace for you to do something like that. They didn't like it. They throw the rock at him and stuff, and people start kind of getting in fights and like punching. One guy got punched in the face, bro. He got
cold.
He got
bro.
up, bro. He got the fuck out, right? So, Friday reference there. But anyway, so like you're seeing these different time periods of the Targaryens, and it's really cool. And this is that time where people are just waiting for the excuse to jump up against them. People, they're like, who's going to be that first person that's going to be like, you know what, screw you, Targaryen. And what's going to be cool is like Duncan, this story right now, he literally does that. He's kind of like that person that comes out of the crowd and goes, nah, man, you're not going to be hurting these people just because you feel a certain way, and punches home dude in the face and loosens his
Absolutely. Absolutely. Greg, what about you, man? Give me you haven't heard you speak in a bit. Give your opinion about this.
No, I just want to throw in super off topic, badass helmet.
Yeah.
Yes.
That helmet's badass.
Yes. The helmet's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
I would want to beat him in the joust just so I could get his armor.
Yeah.
Because if you win, you're supposed to get his armor.
You get armor, coin, and horse.
Shit was tight. It reminded me it's like a Yu-Gi-Oh character. I forgot what his name is.
I'm gonna tell you right now too.
Well,
this is why you hate that Targaryen specifically, because we've probably all been around at least one person that maybe had a couple of older brothers, like when we was in elementary school, and the brothers were older and bigger than everybody and stuff like that, and they would be all right, when their brothers wasn't around, but then you get them around their brothers or bigger brothers that had their back, and then they wanted to talk all kinds of shit. And that's what this guy kind of seems like, right? He's like, I'm going to show out.
Funny enough, he's the older brother.
Yeah. He's like, I'm going to show out. No, but I'm just saying because of his family. It's not about the brother thing. It's about
his dad. It's his dad. And his dad is his uncle. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, oh, you can't mess with me. I can do what the fuck I want, because like, if you do, then I can just have your head because you just hit royalty. And that's the kind of, and that brings that anger and like vitriol that you have against that character even out more. And I think the actor, I'm going to say this, and I said it from the first episode. So far, even the new characters that have came in afterwards, every single one of them has been casted correctly. Loved them. I don't see any faults with anybody's acting, anything.
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah. And also too, just to get back to that scene real quick with the prince dude, they did kind of show how vicious he was when he was like, "You loosened my tooth, we'll take yours," and they were about to curb stomp that dude.
Yep.
Like, that would have been brutal. Like you know what I mean? If
yeah, he's like, I'm about to take all yours.
Bro, being curb stomped in medieval times, bro. Oh my god, that's horrible, dude.
Bro, you loosened my tooth, I'm gonna take all of yours.
No, but guys, he didn't say that. He said, I'm gonna start by taking all of yours.
Yep.
That was just the beginning of what he was gonna do to him.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So that does bring in, and because we had already gotten that character development between Dunk and Egg, when Egg walks in there and he says like, let him go, and then Dunk still don't know, he's still blinded to the truth.
He's like, watch your mouth, boy, they'll hurt you
before they kill you. And he's like, no, they won't.
They'll answer my father.
He will have to answer to my father. And then he names those two guards, like he says their name.
Ward, Yokel.
Down. Yeah. He says their names, and they immediately let go and stand up. And Dunk's just like still laying there, not even trying to get up yet, because he's still in shock of like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
He's like guys' names. He knew who these guys are.
Yeah.
Like,
what's up, Greg?
Y'all know more about this when they dropped that little nugget like and the youngest was became a like they sent him to the wall or be a maester or whatever. Was that the guy from the
Yep.
Jon Snow meets?
Yep, that's the guy. Yeah.
Okay.
So so Egg is the youngest. Aemon Targaryen, the guy we meet, Maester Aemon in Game of Thrones at the wall. That's Egg's older brother, the third
Okay.
one. The third
Eustace,
one.
they call him.
Yeah. And then the one we meet in episode 1 who was drunk, he is the second.
Oh, okay.
And then no, I think he's the first, and then Arian's the second, I think, depending on those two. I don't know which one's first or second. I need to double check that. But yeah, that's it. So yeah, Master Aemon is the guy who dies in Game of Thrones. That's the one.
Real quick, while we're talking on relation, so Master Aemon and Egg are what's her name's uncles, right? Daenerys' uncles.
Those are no, I think
This is 90 years before the start of Game of Thrones.
I think someone's a grandpa. I think one of them was a grandpa.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it might be
So
a grandpa or like a great uncle.
Their
Yeah.
dad was the Mad King, or no?
Yeah,
her
their
was
dad
Mad
their
King.
dad is the Mad King. The
No,
guy
her dad was the Mad King.
Yeah, her dad is the Mad King.
Yeah.
And
So how's he related to them?
well, let's talk about Egg, because I want to throw this scene
Yeah.
out so we can talk about it. Then I'll do a little bit some research for everybody. The opening scene, the training scene. I wanted to get you guys' opinion on that. How I really enjoyed it. I loved
Yeah,
it.
that was
But I
one of
want
my
to get
favorites.
I want to get you guys' opinion on this. Matt, you loved it. Hit me. Why?
Yeah, I really liked it because it showed that he was really preparing, like, for his duties as a squire and shit. And he really just wanted to, like, have a simpler life. He even said it later on in the episode, like, I could see myself having a nice life here. And he was like, "You are here." He's like, "But I mean, for a long time."
Yeah, he doesn't want to be like his brother. Obviously, he even says that during that last scene.
Yeah,
He's coming in with this as like, I'm tired. I don't want to be like royalty. I just want to be like a regular person. He wants to like live life and be outside the castle walls of King's Landing. Like, it's always like the grass is greener on the other side until you get there kind of situation, because he would probably get on that other side and learn, oh, this kind of sucks. But with that being said, as a kid, he doesn't know that yet, and he's kind of, I wish I could just be like the common folk and be able to enjoy the tournament and stuff like that without having to do all the other things they're supposed to do and all that. And I really I think it's cool too the way he was trying to do things with the horse. Reminds me in the House of Dragon, the way the guys would do things for the dragons, like the way they would kind of motion for the dragons to do what they were supposed to do, if you know what I'm saying. In the House of Dragon, where they're, when the dragons would land, and then you had the dragon handlers and stuff, and how they kind of reacted around the dragon, I thought was kind of similar. So I thought that was kind of a cool touch.
Yep. Greg.
I definitely thought it was cute. You know, definitely like a little trick montage.
Any opinion on the medieval bacon, egg, and cheese? You know?
Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah,
little
love
cooking
that. Love
lessons.
that. Yeah. Love that.
Bro, that just goes to show, like, it doesn't matter what time period you're in. Bacon, egg, cheese on some bread. This is
Stands the crest of time.
Yeah, I was laughing at how hard he was, like, trying to tell the butcher he wanted eggs, and the guy kept trying to chop the neck off of the bird. And he's like, no.
no, eggs. And then like he squats and like pretends to shit.
But that showed me that dude is not like knight material, kind of. If like that dude about to chop off a bird's head is like bothersome to him, you know what I mean?
Well, I think he was just like, don't waste the bird. I don't want the bird. I want the egg.
But I know, but he's never killed anybody. You know what I mean?
I mean,
as far as we know,
I actually think that he's going to be this great representation of a knight and what a knight really supposed to be. Because I'm going to be honest with you. Think about the characters in Game of Thrones and even House of Dragon, how like all of them had something up with them. All of them had something bad, wrong. Even though it was the ones you cheered for, they all had like major flaws and stuff. He's one of the first people in this stories, or any of these stories, that it feels like he could be a true hero guy. Like literally stands up for anybody. He doesn't care what it may cost him. He stood up for that woman. He's got to know. He knows the Targaryen. It wasn't like he stumbled in there and didn't know that was the Targaryen. He knew that when he walked in, but he didn't give a shit at the moment.
Yeah.
And he loosens that tooth. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm
just saying, I don't think he has the killer instinct that like a knight would have. You know what I mean? Because they kill people for sure. Like,
yeah. So I mean, he's gonna have to learn that.
No, here's the thing. So we actually got a comment in the chat that says, shout to Indigo Yol, he says, "Do you think Dunk is actually an anointed knight?"
I don't think so.
I don't. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think Sir Arlen of Pennytree
Yeah.
Yeah.
thought about that. Yeah. So,
So
Matt,
that would be.
yeah.
I was going to
So we're
say
about
this
to
is going to be
see.
the bad thing with him, is that technically he's lying, which is a bad thing, but it's a little small thing. So that would be that he's lying about technically being a knight. But I think that's kind of a cool part of his story is going to be the fact that he's one of the truer knights out there, and trying to do what you're actually supposed to do as a knight, and stand up for all the rights and wrongs.
So this is like a Heath Ledger Knight's Tale.
In a sense, yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, so Aegon the Fifth Egg is the great grandpa of Daenerys Targaryen.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense because, like I said, it's set around 90 years before the events of a Game of Thrones, that the original series.
Yeah,
his
but I
son-
mean, I was
his
going
son-
off of.
his son
so Aemon
Jaehaerys.
was like 120 when he died or some
Yep.
shit.
Yeah, something like that. So Jaehaerys II, who is Aegon's son, is the father of the Mad King, Aerys II. Then you have the three weirdos, them. So yeah.
I didn't catch the name, so like, which one are y'all saying in the show is actually Aemon, the guy who was on the wall?
No, he hasn't been
He's-
in this show.
He hasn't been in the show yet.
Okay.
Yeah, we've only
Okay,
seen the first two brothers and the fourth
Okay.
brother. The fourth brother being Egg, and the two other brothers being Darren the Dreamer, the drunk guy we saw at
Yeah.
the end, who said, "I dreamt of you," and he was like shaking his knife at Duncan.
Yeah.
And then Arian, the guy who stabs the horse in the neck and breaks Tenzel's. Those are
So,
we've seen
but
three of the
these
four.
are Aemon's brothers. We just haven't seen Aemon.
These are all Aemon's brothers, but yeah, we haven't seen Aemon. Yes, Aemon, like Raymond Fossaway said, he's so
got sent
useless.
away.
Yeah, he's so useless. They're sending him off to the Citadel to be a maester because they basically said you're useless, and you don't need to be around ruling kingdoms because you're never gonna rule because you're never gonna be king. You're a useless person, so they send him to be a maester. So that's what it is.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah. But yeah, I think we've kind of broken down everything, guys.
Well, I just want to add one more thing.
Matt,
One of my
hit me.
favorite scenes was after the thing with the horse, when Duncan was talking to the guy, and he's like, "My squire thinks that they killed the horse on purpose," and then he's like,
oh yeah.
"Well, like, why
Raymond?
don't you think
Raymond?
that?" Yeah, and he was like, "But a prince to do that." And he's like, "Why do you think a prince wouldn't do that?" And then he flips out. He goes, "Of course he was bloody trying to kill the horse."
Yeah,
I like that because like it just shows how naive that fool is to the
Yeah.
world too. Like,
Yeah. So
they're ancestral aliens, Dunk. I was like,
Yeah,
he trips out, bro. He's like, what?
nah, that's
Dude,
funny.
what?
That's like you got that guy at your job, right? And he's like been holding some shit in, and maybe he, for whatever reason, he thinks he feels a little comfortable around you, and you didn't know he had all this resentment, and then all of a sudden he just goes off on the boss guy. He's like, "Fuck that motherfucker! You agree with me, don't you?" And you're just kind of standing there going like, "Maybe not. I don't know if I agree with you that hard. Like, I don't know if I'm going that far with the hatred of the boss guy." But like that kind of had that feeling, which was funny to me. I like that scene as well, Matt. Glad you brought it up. But
yeah, that was good.
he's but it is funny how he's like going off, and then he's like, he kind of realizes like, shit, I don't really know this guy very well. Yeah, sorry, man. I kind of went off there, like kind of doing that whole like, I hope you don't go tell nobody what I just said, because if it got back to the Targaryens, I'd be fucked. But like I said, it's a little. I do love the show and what it's doing so far with putting those little seeds out there, planting the seeds of this is where the Targaryens started to really lose it. Like, they're losing the power. The people are starting to turn against them, and people are starting to think like, why are you supposed to be so badass? Like, there's a lot more of us out here that are pretty badass ourselves, and we're about to stand up for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Greg, any scene that you really like that we haven't brought up?
No, that was the scene that Matt brought it up. I was gonna bring it up before we left, but that was definitely a scene like Justin said. Like, it's just like that guy that snaps.
Yeah, it's like
They're monsters, man.
It's like some dude that gets a new job at a place, and then he's talking to some veteran workers. Like, it's kind of shitty here, and the guy's like, "Yeah, you believe they do that? Of course they fucking do that."
What do you think? Why did you accept the job? Like, what do you mean? It's like, yeah, man, like they're monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah, man,
They
like
do incense. They get madder and crazier by the
Exactly.
generation.
Yeah.
They
Anytime,
enslaved us.
I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. Anytime that you do a show that is so pivotal with a younger actor, it's a 50-50 crapshoot sometimes. You know, like when they did the first It movie and you had the young kids and stuff, it turned out they did really great casting. The kids did really good. That movie's even more popular than the second part because of that and a lot of reasons. Stuff like either Stranger Things and everything else. You get some super bad things sometimes, but sometimes you find like this diamond in the rough, this kid out of nowhere. I don't even know who this kid is, but this kid is playing Egg. It's like, how lucky are you to have picked the person that I don't see or think it could have been anybody else.
Yeah,
And I think Dunk's doing good too, but this kid is pretty freaking amazing.
Justin, you know who agrees with your sentiment?
Everybody.
George R. Martin, the guy
there
who
you go.
made this. Yeah,
George?
When George was on set and he says, I watched him act, and I told him to his face afterwards, "You're Egg. You're the kid I wrote about. You're that kid. You're him." And it's like, dude, give this kid an Emmy, bro. Give
Yeah,
this
already.
kid an Emmy,
Nah, he
bro.
deserves. Nah, I'm for real.
Give
I
this
don't even.
kid- bro,
We're at the
give
very beginning of the year. I don't give a gosh god
give
darn,
this
boy.
kid the Emmy, bro.
Give this kid
Yeah.
the Emmy
Well,
right now.
He was the reason why I liked when they were talking about. That's why I brought it up too. When they were talking about the song, and he's like, "So they write a song about how good she was at something, but they won't credit her with their name."
Alice the
And then
Honorable.
Duncan, yeah,
Yeah.
how's that honorable? And then he's like, blah
That's
blah
a good
blah,
point.
and he's like, "Well, maybe she was making the best of what she had. Maybe that's the point."
Yeah, because they were talking about how like she had 3 fingers and she shoved them up people's bums, and how like he's like, yeah, it's a song about honor. You know, she, like you said, Matt,
Hmm.
she took what she got and she did the best
But
that she could.
but it's so awesome too. It's, good writing as the character. The that kid's doing so good playing the part, but also the stuff he's given is really super awesome, and how they do it. It's not a beat you over the head with it situation. It's like really cool how he came up with the whole, like, he told the story about the shooting star that I don't even think he believes, right? But I think he told that to Duncan to try to give Duncan some confidence, you know,
Hmm.
like, hey, we're the only ones with luck. Then he turns that into, they go to do the shield and get it painted and like make his crest because he had to make a new one, and Dunk didn't know anything, and he kind of shoots that out there, and then they add the shooting star and stuff, and it's really cool, like, design for that. But he's like throwing that up there. He's letting him know, like, bro, you almost went too far with talking to homegirl the first time, because, you know, when he does the slip up of like, oh, you're tall enough to, and he stops. I still find that really cool. But the way this kid's doing things, and he's not trying to be like overzealous with it. He's not trying to act like he's too smart or anything like that.
Yeah, and he's not overacting at all either.
Yeah, and he's not making Dunk, like, I'm talking about the characters here. He's not making Dunk like look like an idiot. You know what I'm saying? Like, he teaches Dunk some things, but he doesn't like just go out there and act like, oh, I'm the superior one brain wise. He lets Dunk think that Dunk came up with these ideas, right? Or Dunk's came up with this, or Dunk learned this, when he's actually, the kid's actually teaching him a couple things he needs to know, because he's got that education that Dunk don't have, because he's part of the royal family. He's been trained his whole life so far, even though he's young.
Well, also too, Dunk's also teaching them things of like
Yeah.
the practical stuff, like
Yep.
Yeah,
you know, it's like
sewing.
he's stitching his thing, and he's like, should I be doing that? And then Dunk says, well, can you do it? He says, you're
Yeah.
right, I can do it. He's like, yeah. So go brush the horse. He looks like he's been through a hedge. And then Dunk, then, you know, because he's like, oh my God, it's salt beef. Ugh. And then he said, I'll give you a clout in the ear. You know, like he
Yeah.
always threatens to punch him in the face.
No, it's like, be happy with what you got, bro. We
Yeah.
over here.
And then he teaches
making
him
egg and cheese,
how
huh?
to sew. Then he teaches him how to
Yeah.
sew because he wants to, you know, kind of change, you know, the way he was raised up as a knight, I guess. in
Yeah, yeah.
quotation marks.
But no, it's like having two sets of grandparents, you know, and you have the one grandpa that's like,
Mhm.
boy, get your ass out there. You're going to dig some holes. We're going to teach you how to build a fire and all this. And then you got the one grandpa that's like, oh, you need to read your books. You know what I'm saying? You need to get some education and all this kind of stuff. The two opposite ends of the spectrum, but you're learning the really good things from both.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also like the writing in the show too because they let characters have like I'm not gonna say like out of character moments, but like how the guy was explaining the shit to him and he couldn't believe it, and he was like, "Of course they fucking like how he broke like that." It reminded me of the first episode when he was standing in the stalls and he's like, "Are you blah 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 Targaryen?" He's like, "No." Then get the fuck out of the way.
Yeah,
It reminded me of that, like
yeah.
some real shit, not like proper English.
Yeah, no,
You know,
that's the moments that
Yo,
make it
that's
good.
probably that's probably the best scene out of all the 3 episodes.
yeah,
Get the fuck out the way, then, man.
No, I do think the ending part of this episode is the better scene, but I will agree. Like it's moments like that and it's just done so intelligently because like you can always try to be stupid goofy like they have in the first couple episodes, the very first couple of seconds with something stupid like
Mhm.
taking a dump stuff like we talked about earlier. But it's like they don't do that all the time. You're in the middle of an episode. That's literally something that probably would have happened. You believe that would happen, and that guy would say it just like that in this world.
yeah.
It's like,
But
bro,
like
what are
on
you
Game
doing?
of Thrones and shit, like when people would insult people or something, it was always done like real proper like wordage and shit. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And like
and
they were, yeah,
but that's what makes it cool. Is like that came out of nowhere, and it makes you bust out laughing because you don't expect it, right? But it's funny.
exactly. And that's more real than like how they portray other shit. Yeah.
That shit has me dying, man. That shit, man. I started laughing my ass off. I was like, yo, that shit's hilarious as hell.
That that's like probably the most funny, like one of the funniest moments, which is funny because like they obviously did two things as kind of gags. It's supposed to be funny, but that part's funny as hell. And then the whole thing when I brought it up one of our reviews when Dunk and Egg is talking, and Dunk's like, "Well, you know, they called me stupid this whole time," and Egg's just sitting there looking at him, thinking like, "Well, what's the rest of the story? Like, what did you
Yeah.
do because they
What did
did
you do
that?"
when they go to say? Like, this is none
But
of your business.
but he sits there looking at his face for like a good 5 or 6 seconds, and then goes, "And,"
Yep.
and Dunk's like,
like, and it's
Yep.
like,
And then
what?
no, and then.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, let's get our
Mhm.
verdicts on. Out of 10, where are we at, Justin?
We've talked longer than the episode.
Yeah, we've talked long. Yes.
yeah. I mean, but that's what makes it great. Like
Yeah, no,
shows
this
that
is
are
good.
done well. Yeah,
Yeah.
shows that are done well. You're going to talk more than the episode because you like breaking down like each and every little bitty piece in it. But I'm gonna go out. You know what? If it wasn't for the song choice at the end of the episode, probably would have went as high as like an 8.5. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna drop that down to an 8. I really
All
did
right.
enjoy this episode. I love the reveal. I like I said, I do think they may have, maybe I'm reading it wrong. I think they may have tried to be goofy there at the end with the whole like old school dun 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 face,
Yeah.
dun 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 face, dun dun dun
Yeah.
face, and everybody's different
Mhm.
reactions. I think that was a little bit of goofy and almost took me out of it. Still enjoyed the scene though up till that like music part happened. But yeah, I'm going to give it a little bit of a dot for that. So I'll go 7.5.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I'm glad we did this today because yesterday we're doing out of 10 or 5.
10.
Yeah, so yesterday I would have gave it a 7 out of 10, but today I'll give it an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
Mhm.
All right, all right.
Mhm.
Greg.
Yeah, I'll give it an 8. It's my first episode, so it was a good episode to get into. Saw enough fun things, a lot of throwback stuff. Just getting back into the world was fun. So yeah, give it an 8.
Yeah, you need to go back and watch the first 2 episodes because it's going to make this episode a little more clear with their relationships and stuff,
Yeah.
but also like even impact that moment where he steps up for Dunk in this episode there at the end makes it a little more impactful.
Yeah. I'm going to give it a 9 because I just remembered something that we forgot to talk about. Remember the scene where the master of the ceremony tried to get Duncan to be a
Yeah.
part of a scheme to basically rob the betters.
Yeah.
Where they were gonna have Lord Ashford's son take the fall, and they were gonna collect all the money because everyone bet on the Lord, and they
Yeah.
needed Dunk to beat him to make it semi-realistic because he's bigger than him. And Duncan didn't want to do it, and it showed the more moral of like stuff needs to be fair way of
Yeah.
Duncan. So I remember that as well. So I'm giving it a 9.
No.
I really like this episode, and
Bro, I'm glad you brought it up.
my only complaint was it's too short. That was my
Yeah.
only complaint. So I'm gonna give it a 9.
But that's crazy because that was actually a good scene. I thought both actors did pretty good in that scene as well. nothing bad with that scene, but we really didn't. We almost skipped over it without even mentioning it at all because the rest of the stuff was interesting enough to talk about. That's what's super great. Like that was kind of like a little side thing, giving you a little bit extra about how Dunk's going to stand up and be the right kind of person here, or at least try to be the right kind of person. And you don't see that in a lot in Game of Thrones stories. And he's doing it, and yeah, and that was a good scene. I thought that was also a great scene in the show, but we're just talking about all the other stuff.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Hey, real quick,
Hey, Justin.
the lady that did anybody, because I wanted to go back and rewatch it because I just watched it to break down. Did on the second watch, did y'all get a little more of a better feel from the lady who was giving out the like kind of like foreseeing the future kind of thing?
Oh yeah.
What do you mean?
You know the scene where
No,
Dunk's
I know the
walking-
scene. Like, what do you like? I don't want to talk about that because I don't want to spoil stuff.
Well,
Because I read some lore stuff that I don't want to spoil it.
Big readers on the panel.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly what she said, so I'm gonna actually probably break that down. Spend a second to like actually hear what she says again. I was just seeing like,
you want me to tell you what I remember what she said.
yeah, go ahead.
She said to Duncan, he's gonna be richer than a Lannister and he's gonna find great glory. And then for Egg, they said you're gonna die in a fiery blaze with worms eating your corpse, and people
And she
are
said
gonna
he'd be a king. That's
yeah,
what she
you're gonna be the
started.
king, and then you're gonna die. You're gonna die in a fiery blaze with worms eating your body, and your death is gonna bring joy to people who hate you. That's what she said.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that's definitely happening.
Well, here's the thing though, is like he can't.
I'm not saying that.
No,
I'm not
but
saying
even though he's super young though, he still couldn't be the Mad King. He would have to be the Mad King's dad, maybe.
He's the great grandpa.
So he's the Mad King's dad.
Slightly.
Oh no, he's the Mad King's grandpa.
Okay, so
He's the grandpa
Yeah,
to the
that's-
Mad King.
that's interesting. But yeah,
Yeah.
like
he's
saying that
Daenerys's great grandpa. He's Ares the second, the Mad King. That's his
His
grandpa.
grandpa. Yeah.
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 So, but yeah, that's pretty interesting how that goes through because I don't know a bunch about this time period in the Game of Thrones area. But yeah, that's pretty interesting how he's going to supposedly be hated as well. And we knew the Mad King was super hated because he just
I think
started killing people.
the only Targaryen king that people loved was Darren the Good, and Darren the Good is the
No, there
is-
was a Baelor. One of the
No.
Baelors out there.
no.
He wasn't a king, but the dude that ran off with Lyanna, people liked him.
Rhaegar.
Yeah.
That's Daenerys' older brother, Rhaegar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then people assumed he kidnapped her and raped her, but he didn't. She just didn't love Robert Baratheon, so she.
But the people did like him.
Because whenever they talked about him, it was always like misconceptions, like, "Oh no, he actually gave to the poor and was out there in the street."
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
out there singing and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, Darren the Good, who's actually the funny enough, Darren the Good is the king right now in the show.
Oh.
Like the king right now, Darren, he's the king.
Well, I'm
He's
just
the
kind
one-
of. I am mentioning that like he's not the only king in the whole Targaryen line that people like. There were good people, even in the House of Dragon. The king that ends up dying at the very beginning of the first episode when he's trying to transition into power, and they have that whole vote to get together to see who wins to take control.
Balon.
Like people loved him as well.
Yeah,
So,
wait.
Dylon.
Yeah, I think it was Balon or pretty
Something
sure.
like that, bro. All their names, like you could just guess a name that seems like a Targaryen name, and there was a king named that at some point.
Yeah, because Balon is the dad of Viserys, the guy who is in House of Dragon, who
Yeah.
becomes king.
Mhm.
You know, he beats out his cousin.
Yeah, he was like really respectful. He lasted for a long time, and it was like
Yeah.
a huge period of peace and stuff, and people loved him.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there were good kings during the line.
Yeah, but there are two horrible kings. There's Maegor the Cruel,
Yep.
and then there's Aegon
Oh,
the.
was he a cool guy?
I don't think it's an oxymoron, man. I think it means what it means. And then there's Aegon the Fourth, which is Aegon the Unworthy. He's the guy who had a bunch of out of wedlock kids.
Yeah.
And he on his deathbed legitimized them and then created the Black Fire House. Like in the show where Egg is saying, Do you yield, Blackfire bastards? He's talking
Yep.
about his great grandpa's his
The Blackfire
old-
Rebellion, bro. There's
Yeah,
so many
yeah.
things they can dive into, man.
So many things, bro.
I'm wanting to see the Robert's Rebellion because I want to get more
Yeah.
of the picture of Rhaegar, like you were just talking
I was
Yeah.
about.
telling Ferris
This
that.
cool guy who
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
he loved to do like artsy stuff, like play his little lute and everything, and
But he would
write some
also
poetry or
cut you
something.
down with this big
But,
sword if you
yeah,
wanted to.
but supposedly he was like the
He
best.
didn't love to fight, but that's what he was good
didn't
at.
want to be super good at sword fighting, but he was.
Yeah.
So he would have to go to tournaments and like whoop some ass every now and then. He didn't really care about doing it.
And
Yeah.
it's really different from what we see from Targaryens, right? They're really
Yeah.
Just to get the
Really-
shot of the hammer shot to the chest and the fucking
Yeah, where-
jewels busting out and fucking.
Yeah, caving Rhaegar's chest at the Battle of the Trident. Yeah, I would love
if
to
they
see
did the Battle of the
yeah.
Trident. They would do it epic.
Yeah, I think, man, I think there was a rumor out there. I don't know if it's that they're thinking of adapting the Blackfire Rebellion storyline.
Yep.
I think.
Yeah, the
I
Blackfire
heard that-
Rebellion's even way further below that. You wouldn't get any Rhaegar.
And this was,
stuff.
the Blackfire Rebellion is actually before Duncan Egg. So we keep going back, right? So
Yeah.
it would be before Duncan Egg, but after House of Dragon.
Yeah.
Right? It would be like that little time period right there.
Yeah, because there's like a really cool sword that gets passed down
Blackfire.
for the Blackfire.
If only
that's-
there was a character that could see all events through time.
Mhm.
There is.
Good old Bran. Where you at, Bran?
Brand the Unbroken.
Oh no! Also, too funny enough, Matt. If they do the Blackfire Rebellion, the Blood Raven, the one that's in the Game of
Blood
Thrones,
Raven's super cool.
the
Yeah.
one that's in, he was a part of the rebellion.
Oh,
so
wow.
we'd also like,
Yeah.
we'd also be like he's a part of that storyline as well.
The guy that's in the tree that
yeah,
like teaches
yeah,
Bran
yeah.
that
Brendan
last little bit of
Rivers.
stuff.
Brendan
Yep.
Rivers, yeah.
That
So he's
dude's
part
been
of
around
that.
for a super long time. Like he's super freaking old.
like over 200 years old.
But yeah,
from-
his name was the Blood Raven.
Yeah, and
Nice.
he went all the way to the north to be one with the weirwood trees.
Yep.
That's why he's stayed alive. Yeah, it's so much cool stuff, man. So much cool stuff. Yeah, because Blackfire, they're called House Blackfire because Aegon the Unworthy gave it to Daemon the First. The sword of House Targaryen is Blackfire.
Yep.
So he gave it to his out of wedlock kid, and then that kid said, "This is a sign that I am the true king of Westeros." Darren II is not the true king of Westeros. He's actually they love using the word bastard a lot. He's the bastard kid. I'm not the bastard kid. He's the bastard kid.
Yep.
He's actually the son of
A lot of
Aemon.
bastards out there.
Yeah, it's a lot. They use that word really, like,
Dude, I honestly think with this episode, we should earn some HBO sponsorships or at least some free HBO Max accounts. 'Cause,
hey yo, dog.
Yeah, at least
we
that.
get some serious
like,
promotion.
at least
Underwear.
give us the Max for free. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Oh, nice.
Send us to like a press event, Amy. But let's get out of here, guys, because I was having fun. I looked up and I saw 50
I love talking
minutes.
about the Game of Thrones.
I didn't care. I loved it. So Greg, where can people find you, my man?
You can find me here sometimes, and you can find me at Spurs vs. Everybody occasionally too. Also, so thank you.
All right, perfect. Justin.
Yeah, you hear Adelia in the background there. Did you
No.
hear
Yeah.
it? But no,
Fired.
like,
You're all fired.
This review is almost twice as long as the episode. It's like,
yeah. No, man, but it's fun talking about this stuff, bro. That's one thing cool about, like, I will give Martin this. Maybe he can't finish the damn thing, but he created a world that is super crazy, like fun to discuss all the things. And like, he accidentally made history for this world, like this ridiculous. Like, it's
I think
crazy.
he is finished. I just think he's waiting. He's waiting.
No, I think his ass got his feelings hurt because I think he told him like
Yeah.
this is how it's supposed to end. And then when people got the pushback on like, oh man, screw that, Bran's a king. Oh,
Bran?
fuck, this is stupid.
Professor X?
Yeah, Professor X over here. Like, people getting pissed off and everything, and like he kind of got his feelings hurt and gotten, shut the hell up, Martin. Start writing the old ass. You're gonna die, man. He's old. He's
I
like
think
80
I think he's mad at DB and the HBO
He
two
got
guys.
mad.
Yeah, he's like
He's being a little diva, man. He got that shine of like being a star, and now he's trying to chase that star all the time.
Well, him and the showrunner for House of Dragon started beefing, and he
Yeah,
stepped away.
like he's kind of like George R.R. Martin's kind of like that one girl that's always like, I keep getting the wrong guy, and it's like, well, girl, you've been with 10 different dudes, and they all happen to be bad.
Let's
We
start
know what
looking
the
in the
common
mirror.
feature is.
Let's start looking
But
in the mirror.
Well, I'm
I saw
saying,
you
like, the common feature in all this It's
I saw
you.
some
Maybe
people
you
just
got some issues.
yeah, I saw some people discussing that too, and like one guy who actually said he works like in the industry and TV, he said, but some writers don't understand the production for TV versus their novel and shit. Like, there's things you
Yeah.
can't
Yeah, there's
do and
gonna
shit
be
like.
things that's got to be changed.
Well,
Yeah,
well,
Like,
funny enough, he's a part of this show with Ira Parker. Him and Ira Parker are together. Apparently, he gave Ira Parker 12 outlines of Duncan Egg.
yeah.
Like this is the story. And Ira
Well,
Parker said in an interview, he said, I want to do 4 to 5 seasons of this, and then 10-year skip, 4 to 5 seasons of Egg and Duncan, being
older and stuff
king
like that.
and yeah, and like that, and then 10-year skip, and then 4 to 5 seasons to end it off. I'm like, yo, that's a lot of stuff, bro. He's like, I got
Yeah.
me and George talk all the
Want
time. I'm
fries
like,
with that?
okay,
Yeah.
all right,
Well,
bro. Whoa, that's
yeah.
crazy.
Well, the thing is, it's like some things have to change. So, like in this story right here in the show we're watching, you got to have a big,
I
tall.
literally said we were
SOB.
supposed to head
Yeah.
out.
Listen, well,
3 times
Dunk.
episode now.
Well, most people don't realize this. It's like Dunk is literally in the story. He's only like 17 years old right now,
yeah,
like 16 or 17 years old. But he's supposed to be really tall for that age. How are you going to find somebody that even looks that tall, like at that age range? It's going to be very rare. So, like, they're having to age up the actor, right? Because of that. But that's one of those things that's cool. Like, you can change that. That's fine. Not that big of a deal. You can still do a cool story with that. And you don't really change a whole lot. You don't change the plot or nothing.
Yeah. So Matt, where can people find you, man?
you can see me on here doing different TV and movie reviews. We got one coming up on Thursday for Captain Marvel.
Perfect. All right, Justin, you said where can people find you, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can find me right here.
Okay,
Find
got
me
you guys. My name's
here.
Fred Donna.
Get settled in.
Yeah, you can find me here Thursdays and Fridays, usually 3 o'clock Pacific. We do Rewatchers Council of Buffy and Angel. Buffy on Thursday, Angel on Friday. And as well, Matt said Thursday, 5 o'clock or 5:30, we're doing Captain Marvel, the MCU rewatch. And then usually Fridays at 5 o'clock Pacific, I do Good Friends, Better Rivals on our sister channel. But this Friday, I may not be able to do it, so be on the lookout. I'm sorry, my bad. Be on the lookout for next week. So thank you so much for joining us. If you guys like the video and you guys like the conversation, we had the graphic throughout. Make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and make sure to hit that notification bell, man. Yeah, right here. He says they're trying to turn a 90-page book into a 6-hour series. Episode 3 is filler that proves it boring AF. Well, I don't think it was boring. So I disagree with that statement. But yeah, they're trying to stretch it. Well,
There was
actually,
action with the joust. You have the reveal at the end of this
Yeah.
episode. Like, I would say this is far from like being boring. I mean,
and also,
Randy
dude,
was talking about
depending on the edition, it's like it ranges from 90 to 150. So yeah, so be on the look. But without further ado, thank you guys so much for joining us. Hit that like, hit that subscribe if you enjoyed the review. We'll more of these in the future if you like. But peace out, y'all, and stay safe.
next week, me and Greg egg sandwich cook off.
Let's go, baby.
Oh yeah. Well, we got the episode's actually dropping on Friday
Yeah.
at midnight
Chuck cheese.
because of the
Maybe they'll
Super
make
Bowl.
Chuck
So
cheese.
be on the lookout for that.
Because of the Super Bowl. Oh yeah.